Hello, thank you for approaching to this poster. My name is Núria Queralt Rosinach. I'm a researcher in the Biosemantics group in the Leiden University Medical Center. And this poster presents the COVID-19 epidemiology and monitoring ontology. Because as stated recently by an article in Nature, to monitor efficiently the dynamics of outbreaks, we need a standard for making this efficient. So the monitoring of these is based on epidemic measurements. And in the OBO Foundry, if we analyze how are these structured in our ontologies, we can see that recently for COVID-19 have been developed some new ontologies like the COVID-19 infectious disease ontology that already compiles like 20 epidemic measurements. But our hypothesis was that maybe the problem is that there is a lack of structured epidemic measurements in OBO. So our main objective was to improve the ontological representation of these epidemiological measurements, and first by determining the semantic status of these measurements in OBO, and then to develop a minimal formal model. All this work has been developed during several hackathons. So as a first finding was that after curating a list of 138 quantitative terms from preprint servers and epidemiology surveillance official websites, there is a very low coverage of these terms, and those are highly distributed. But importantly, the infectious disease ontology, that is the core ontology for the COVID-19 infectious disease ontology, already compiles, is one of the ones that compiles more of these terms. So we decided to construct a new ontology using best practices like reusing terms and models as much as possible and being modular, and also following the OBO principles. Reusing the foundational BFO ontology, one of these principles. Also, the first thing was to determine the domain and the scope of the ontology by means of defining core concepts that are all compiled in an upper level class in the ontology. Also, these measurements in infectious disease ontology are defined as children for qualities. So we, based on this infectious disease ontology hierarchy in OBO, we added all these missing terms as a quality. Then we define a couple of axiom patterns, one for interpretation for these measurements under this domain core and scope concepts, and also to define timelines based on reusing a mortality model that is based in GFO. That is another foundational ontology. Then we made a conceptual model that I showed in the left, where measurements are the output of a process that is central concept of the model. And importantly, we're linking the confidence level of the measurement. Then we mapped all these terms and relationships of the model to OBO and to the infectious disease ontology hierarchy. So importantly, this model is based on reusing an existing core model based on a measurement design pattern on the upper level ontology called SIO for describing patient registry data elements for rare diseases. So to foster reliability on these measurements, we are adding this interval confidence, as I said, and also we are describing all these measurements in the scope of concepts in the domain, and also describing, as a third recommendation, linking these patient population terms by means of the OBO relational ontology has member, following the phenopackage standard that is using also the semantics, membership semantics. So to discuss that, we are filling the gap, adding these new 100 terms, and also developing this new conceptual model or ontology in OWL, using best practices to enable rapid intervention, and using all principles for biomedical research, and reusing design patterns that are used for rare disease research. Limitations: we need to evaluate this integration of upper level ontologies, of foundational ontologies, and we would like to make more expressive formal link between population and patient. Finally, to say that we are using, by means of this new ontology, we aim to make this quantitative data more machine readable for research, reusable, interpretable, and reliable, and computable for analysis to enable rapid intervention. If you want to contribute, the ontology is in GitHub, and you can contribute adding comments in the issue tracker or emailing me. And also highlight that this ontology can be used under the terms of the CC0 license. So thank you so much to all my co-authors, contributors, modelers in the EGP, and collaborators in the hackathon, and the funding organizations, and also to the ISMB and ECCB organization. Thank you so much.